friends, it's Marissa, MKissa Creations and surfandsew.me on Instagram, and this is my Flosstube video. If you're joining me for the first time, hi, thank you for coming and stopping by. This is a channel that is primarily about cross stitch. I think at some point I will probably throw in some other crafts. I do like to quilt and I'm itching to get back to that, but right now it is pretty much exclusively cross stitch. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I have so many new subscribers over like the last couple of weeks, and I just really appreciate you wanting to stick around and hitting that subscribe button and those like buttons. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. So today is January 1st, 2024, and I'm going to do a WIP parade. So I did a start parade or a kit parade last week. I have 24 new starts planned for 2024. I also mentioned in that video that I am carrying over 24 WIPs into 2024. So I wanted to go through those today. I also mentioned in my last video that I was going to try during the crazy week in between Christmas and New Year's that I was going to try to touch all of my WIPs. I didn't make it. I did touch a lot of them though. I used the Tiny Decisions app and kind of spun a wheel, and the wheel knew. The wheel knew what I needed to work on, what hadn't been touched in a really long time, and what I needed to really make sure that I was still into before we crossed over into the new year. We took our tree down, and in taking our tree down, and we needed to move some stuff out of the basement. So I had this bookshelf. So I moved this bookshelf in, and it's gonna hold all of my project bags. And they were all up there, but a lot of my projects share project bags. So I took them out of at least those bags. So we'll be able to bypass the zipping and unzipping, but we're not gonna bypass the crinkle and the zip locking of pattern bags, so apologies for that. But I think I'll be okay. I think we're all used to it at this point. So yeah, let's get started. I think I am really excited about all of these WIPs, and I love doing WIP parades for this purpose, just because it really reinvigorates you into, or it reinvigorates me into really wanting to get my hands on these projects again and making sure that, you know, I still really do love them and want them in my WIP pile. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I feel like sometimes we do let stuff languish for so long that sometimes you don't know, like, do I really want to work on that ever again? And is it time to just retire it? And I did cull my WIP list earlier in the year, and so right now, everything that's in my pile, I really, really want to work on. There's one exception, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It's not that I don't want to work on it, but it might have to go to the wayside. I got to do a little bit more homework first. Also, if you were concerned that I had lost all of my work that I had done charting that reproduction pattern, thank you for caring. My stitchy friends let me know that they just could see the panic on my face when I saw that. So I found it. I found my backup file, and it is alive and well. And so I'm going to get back to charting that and making sure I can get it into your hands as soon as I can. In addition to all of that fun stuff, it's still school vacation, so I still have a 6- and 8-year-old running around my house. They are upstairs. They are playing quietly, so hopefully we have minimal interruptions, but their bedroom is right there, so if it gets a little rambunctious, we might get some bonks and some noises in our video today. They're pretty good listeners for the most part though, so. All right, so I like to do kind of stats going into every year just as a start off point. So I am carrying over 24 WIPs, which we already talked about. 3 of those are from 2017, 7 are from 2018, 6 from 2019, 6 from 2020, 1 from 2021, and 1 from 2023. So I think I learned my lesson on starting too many in a year, but then again I didn't, because I'm starting 24 this year. So The last couple years I've started very minimal projects, and the ones that I have started and finished. So this year is going to be kind of a wild ride, and gonna bump that WIP list up again, but hopefully I went through it again, and I have quite a few that I think I'll be able to start and finish in this year. So, and hopefully some of these bigger projects will get to a point where we can finish them too. All right, so I put them all in order. I have them all in piles. So we are going to start with Ink Circles 99. This is the pattern. It's pretty great. All of the beer bottles that are on it are recognizable labels. If you're familiar with the beer. So, but like, I mean, that one's, like, there's a Corona bottle on there. Like, you can tell it's a Corona bottle. I think she did an amazing job with this chart. I absolutely love it. So it is being stitched on the called for fabric, which is Picture This plus Ale, appropriately. And here's where we're at. So I have 3 of the 9 shelves done, so a third of the way there, plus a little bit more because I have an empty shelf up here. This is one that I did not touch in this last week, and I actually have more done on this than I thought I did. I thought I only had 2 shelves, so that's exciting to pull out and see. So hopefully we'll make a little bit more progress on this one this year. I would like to finish it, but I think just asking for a good amount of progress is nice at this point. This is going to be a fun cleanup. We're just going to toss stuff. All right. Wrong pile. Next on the list, oh, this one's from a magazine. Let's see. I think it's this magazine. 2014 Halloween. Is called Midnight Ride. And it is this. And this is the very first one that I picked up this week. And I'm really glad because it had such a pitiful amount done for how long this has been in my WIP pile for. And I mean, it's still pretty pitiful, but I at least made a little bit of progress in it. This is on fabric that I dyed myself with blue, gray, and I'm gonna say purple. And here is where I'm at. Let's see, there we go. I will also mention that this bat right here, he's like, I think kind of like, you know, like coming in at an angle, but all 3 other bats are like the same bat. And so I changed that bat down there to be the same bat as all the other bats. So he's right there. So that is Midnight Ride, and that is by Teresa Curry and Brian Stugelmeyer of Needlebling Designs. So that's a Needlebling Designs pattern. Again, 2014, just cross-stitch Halloween special issue. I liked the big stuff in this one. I also finished, I did this one too. This black cat black work one. I did it on orange, and I really loved how that turned out. All right. So the last of the 3 2017 designs is one that I'm totally gonna finish this year. Totally gonna finish it. It is Shores of Hawkhorn Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. And this one I did get out last year, and made some progress on and finished the lighthouse, or at least finished, I think it has yellow in the windows that I need to add, but finished the white and the red, although the white, it shows in real life, but I don't know if it's, oh, there we go, a little bit better on that camera. This is 40 count Picture This Plus doubloon. And this one will get stitched on when it gets stitched on. I don't really have plans for how I'm gonna stitch on my WIPs this year, but I think since I put them all into a wheel, for a Tiny Decisions wheel for my last week, I might use that, especially if I just get kind of stuck. But I'm gonna try to do a new start every 2 weeks, and I'll probably try to switch whatever WIP I'm working on, but I also, if I'm feeling something, I will continue on with it, and that's how you get it done. All right, so that's the last of the 2017 WIPs. 2018 WIPs. 2018 WIPs starts with my New Year, New Start for 2018, which was Mirabilia's Sleeping Princess. She's kind of a Princess in the Pea princess. And this is on Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, Moana. And here's where I'm at. So last year I made a pretty good sized dent in some of the mattresses on that side of the bed. I love this. I love how it stitches. It's 32 count. It's a even weave, Lugana probably. I tend to stitch on linen, so the evenness of it is very satisfying when I stitch on it. All my stitches like look the way that they're supposed to look, and they all lay correctly. So I do like stitching on that one a lot. By the time I finish it, I'm not going to have little girls that are little enough to want a little girl princess in their room, although maybe they will. But I love it a lot. The next pattern is Prairie Schooler ABC's Z. So I have marked, I'm doing the full alphabet on one piece. I have decided that I am counting each piece as its own little finish and its own little pattern. So here's the X, Y, and Z blocks. And this is on also Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, 40 count toasted almond linen. Let's see. This I worked on this week. And I was really, really, really happy to work on this week. I worked on it at my friend Penny's house. Penny is the Daily Stitcher. We had our little Christmas gathering for our little friend group, and we went over to her house and I got some stitching done. I actually got stitching done in a little meetup, which I feel like a lot of times I don't get stitching done, or I don't feel like I got that much done. So I'm going to show you, I worked on ampersand too. So I'm going to show you kind of what I did on both of them. Ampersand doesn't come up till later in the WIP list, but we'll just talk about it now. All right, so what I finished this week, I just had the outline right here. So I got the ampersand done, so the outline, all the brown, and then also the color in the ampersand. I added the color to these two numbers, and then I had to carry this border up, and I carried it all the way up to the top. And then Z is for zinnia, I worked on also, and that side I added all the color. So the Z, the inside of the Z, the flower, and the watering can, and then the little So the little flower, sorry, I can't see, where am I? So the little flower down here, I added the red to, and then also I started on the zinnias. So I feel like I got a decent amount done for taking it out. That was kind of my thing, and probably why I didn't touch as many of my patterns as why I didn't get through touching all of them before the end of the year. And because a lot of these pieces I feel like just never really got the start that they deserved. So I figured the least I could do was to give them like a solid day of stitching each when I pulled them out. And that would at least make me feel a little bit better about that. Oh, here it is. I don't know why I put it on the bottom of the next pile, but all right. Oh, because it's not next. Okay, I'm moving to a new stack is what's happening. And I need to pay more attention. Okay, I'm moving to a new stack. That was my first step. So that got us through number 5. We are still in 2018. On the 17th of 2018, I started the Z is for Zinnia, and I also started Dreidel Dreidel. And I believe that at the beginning of 2018, there was some Facebook group with you needed a certain number of projects, and they had to be stitched. They had to be started by like the 18th or the 21st of January or something like that. So I think that's why I have 2 that are started on that day. I'm not going to take the pattern out of the bag for this one. You guys have seen it recently too. But this is Ink Circles Dreidel Dreidel. And I am stitching this on a piece of kind of creamy white linen with Gentle Arts Cornflower. And I got a decent amount of progress on this over the holidays this year. So that is where that's at. The quiet has expired. We now have forgotten what that means. You did good. How long did they make it? Like 15 minutes? School starts tomorrow. School starts tomorrow. We went, they both tried to stay up until midnight last night. They tried really hard. They wanted to so bad. And so I told them I would stay up with them, although I didn't make it until midnight either. I think I made it until 11:30. My little one made it until 11, which I was shocked. I mean, she was 10:20, she dozed the first time, and I tried to take her upstairs, and she was not having it. She wanted to do a countdown. And then there's the banging. And then my older daughter made it until 11:15, 11:20 was when I noticed her go down. And then that was when I was like, I'm just going to turn the TV off and fall asleep also. So we had a sleepover in the living room. And then this morning, after my husband got back from the gym, we all went for a hike. So I was hoping that they would kind of be a little bit mellow after not really sleeping a lot and then taking them on like an hour-long hike. But no, nope. All right. So Dreidel Dreidel, and then next, we're still in 2018, September 22nd, 2018. I started a very crinkly project. Barbara Anna's All Creatures Great and Small. We're just going to leave it in its crinkly package. I think a lot of people probably know what that one looks like. I always forget what this is on. This is on, I think it's like Witchelt though, because this fabric can stand up by itself, which makes it not as much fun to stitch, unfortunately. Sorry, if you're an anti-bug person, this was probably not the video for you. Maybe I should move my bugs next time. And there's a bug on this one too. A bug in a jar. All right, so this is where I'm at. So I've got that top corner done. And I like working on this one. The little motifs, it's one of those projects where the little motifs give you the feel of little finishes, and but the border is, I feel like the border's pretty intense. Like it's a lot of paying attention, a lot of colors, and so I try to like stitch the border where I am stitching other things. I don't just like to go and do border, because I like to do double checks, like everything's matching up the way it's supposed to. And so keeping the border that way helps with that. All right, more bugs, warning, more bugs. Clouds Factory, Snug as a Bug in a Rug. Someday I will follow through on saying I want to do a sale with people who are doing bugs and butterflies, and I'll actually do it. But until then, this is Snug as a Bug. And I love this. I just feel like it's not a typical Clouds Factory. This one, and then there's a Clouds Factory Haunted House that I feel like are both in that category of like very, I don't know, different, very different Clouds Factory pieces. All right, so this one, I just have this, I think this is actually a moth, even though it looks very butterfly-y, but it could be a butterfly. It probably says on here. I feel like they would put that information. Anyways, okay. Here we go. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. All right. All right, one more 2018 is The Token by Long Dog Samplers. This is like a anniversary / wedding sampler piece that I work on. I am stitching it on Tyco. 36 count Tyco. Here's where I'm at. So this one I have made progress on over the last year, and I will continue to make progress on. I tend not to stitch on it as much in the winter time because I'm stitching it in a Silks For You silk. And it tends to not like my hands as much in the winter when they're dry, but here, let's see if we're gonna get, it looks way brighter than it is. So it is, I would say like 14 or 15, and then to like Christmas red. Is that like 621 is like the brighter part of it. It does kind of, so it does rub off a little bit, so I keep it in this little bag, which matches my big like Christmas bag, but it's red on the inside, so I figure if any dye rubs off, it's just gonna rub off into a red bag and it's gonna be fine. And then I've talked before about how I'm gonna add in aqua, because those are our wedding colors, so you can see my like little growing collection of different aquas to try to decide what is actually going to work. I need one in between these two, like in between a sea foam and a robin's egg. I don't know if that's what these are called, but seaweed is almond M&Ms and blue moon, and then these needlepoint silks are ice blue range and jade range. But really, I just need an in-between. I need an in-between of robin's egg blue and seafoam. I don't know where that aqua exists, but It is my favorite aqua of all the aquas. Talk about aqua in every video. Sorry, everybody. I like aqua. All right. That was the last of 2018. 2019. Wait, oh, I missed one. I skipped over this one. This is my maybe one. So this is Patriotic Needle Queen. I don't have the cover sheet because I can't find my pattern. Like I mentioned in my last video, I lost a lot of my digital files on my computer last year, and this might have been one of them. So it came up on my WIP wheel, and then I like looked, and then I decided that I didn't want to spend any more time looking, and I wanted to get stitching something, so I spun something else. So this is maybe going to the wayside, but this is the inside of the book. I need to make one more of these little sections, and then I would need to do the whole outside of the book. So that one's up in the air. That one I started 11/6/2018, which was the same day as Snug in a Bug. I don't know why I have days where I just was like, I'm just gonna start everything. That's fine. This is another one that I didn't get to that I really would like to get to. This is a New Year, New Start for 2019. I should really stop doing New Year, New Starts, but I didn't. I already did one for this year. This is Be Thankful by Country Cottage Needleworks. And this one I really just, again, like, this is not a big giant cross stitch, Marissa. Please just start stitching. It is, what's the count on it? 151 by 91. I guess it's not tiny, but it's not big. And this is on 40 count, I want to say ale. I'm pretty sure it's ale. 40 count ale. So I've got one pumpkin done. One piddly pumpkin out of 7 pumpkins. So, again, I need to get with it. And this one, I feel like if this one doesn't get significant progress made on it this year, it's probably just it's gonna go. I'm gonna let it go. So hopefully I feel inspired at some point to pick this one up this year. But otherwise, it's done. I'm giving it one more shot. All right. Then the next one is the ampersand. So I started that on Valentine's Day. That's sort of a weird Valentine's Day start. And then Tarot Needle Book. This is by, oh, what is her name? Wild Violet? And I have one section done, and then the back stitching started. And I need to fill in the words. So it's like the ripper, the stitcher, and the something. So that's the ripper in the middle, because he's holding a seam ripper. And this is on tea-dyed .28 count something. I dyed that myself, and probably need to replace the needle minder that's on that. And I am stitching it with the Gentle Arts Onyx. Which is like a nice sort of like matte dark black gray. Dark gray black. Words are hard sometimes. Thank you for sticking with me through them. Up next is a Peacock, a Unicorn, a Badger. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this again lately, and that made me want to work on it, and so I did, and I got some stuff in, because this is one that got such a piddly start for me. It was really sad, and I wanted to give it some time. So I gave it a little bit of time. It still doesn't have a lot done. But there's some more colors on there. I actually started filling in the background, which is exciting. So I will get there with this one. Definitely like not going to finish it along with like everyone else that is almost to the halfway mark at this point from like when it came out. But I really like this pattern. It's the Scarlet Letter, and it is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. I've never stitched any of her other patterns, but I really like the way that she made the book. All right, next is my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. We've talked about this one recently because I showed it during all my Christmas stuff. So here we go, kind of quick. It is on 36 count Wren Edinburgh. And here's where that's at. That one has not gotten love in this week. So I did that thing on Tiny Decisions where you can like black it out once you've like worked on it, so it won't pick it again until you like reset the wheel. So I might continue on through my WIPs with that same setting on there so that I can touch everything before I go back around again, but we'll see. I'm wanting to work on Consider the Lilies, and so I think I'm not really going to fight that, and I'll probably pick that up fairly shortly. Okay. And then I started in the end of October 2018, I started Yuletide Shanty. Yuletide Shanty did get picked up. I stitched on this on a stitchy night, on a stitchy Zoom. Picked this one up, Yuletide Shanty by Palm Street. This is on 36 count weathered shingle. And that's where I'm at. So I showed this in my like Christmas stitches video. So what I got done was I had one of the wreaths done with just the green. So I finished the other two wreaths, got their bows on, stitched this sail up here, got some of the snowflakes in and Santa's beard. And, and I added the green stripes to this sail down here and two of the red stripes. So I got a good chunk. Oh, and I did the white in the little porthole windows, which you can barely see, but progress. So I was happy with what I got done. Again, especially since I was doing it on a Zoom. Sometimes I'm very productive on a Zoom and sometimes not as much. All right, one more pile. I'm gonna pause and do the thing because sometimes my camera likes to turn off if I've done it for too long. All right, here we go, last pile. Thank you so much for sticking with me. These are some of my favorites that are coming up, so I hope that you are still around. First is, I believe that this is another New Year, New Start. Yep. So this is my 2020 New Year, New Start. It is Night Walked Down by the Blue Flower. I love that witchy woman and her cat. Night walked down the sky with the moon in her hand. What fabric is this? Why don't I have a tag? Wrote my start dates down, didn't write my fabrics down. This is really pretty. All right, here's where I'm at. This is like it's a really light purple gray. But, all right, so that is where I'm at with her. I did change her hair. Her hair is charted in cinders, But Cinders, and then her cat is also charted the same. Like has the same color hair as her cat, which I love. And I wanted to keep the same because the Cinders would be beautiful for hair, but because I'm also going to be, it's not a cat color, at least not any cat that I've ever seen. So this is Cinders, which is again beautiful, but not a cat color. It would be a really fun witchy hair color though. All right, so this one I would really like to get my act together on and stitch a little bit of this because she's beautiful. And I don't have any other blue flowers like going, so it makes sense for me to get some work done on this one. This one I'm actually putting back in its bag because it's in one like a little bag. This is it is Kismet bag. And it's like tarot cards. Pretty cool. All right. And then consider the lilies. My pour chart has taken a total beating. This is stitched on 37, 38-ish count piece of not cross-stitch linen. It's almost got like a polyester-y feel to it that I found at thrift store. And I actually don't even know if I can get it all in the picture what I have done. I don't think I can. That's kind of exciting. Oh, yep, that's as far as I can lean back. So I am officially past the halfway mark, I think. I'll give myself credit past the halfway mark. Where I am working right now is the house, or where I was working last, and we'll pick back up at. So I just need to get that brickwork done, but all the mortar is done. So it just needs a little bit more love to get that house done. And then, I mean, that is just a monkey off your back, getting that done. But this piece is just so beautiful. Heartstring Samplery, she just knocked it out of the park with this and His Eyes on the Sparrow. They are two of the most gorgeous pieces. I love them so much. I don't own His Eyes on the Sparrow. I don't know if I will stitch His Eyes on the Sparrow. I think I have another big stitchy project coming my way. And His Eyes on the Sparrow doesn't fit into the plans with that. All right. Consider Lilies. All right, next, my two Hades are next. The first one is Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Molly Harrison, Mini Witch Way. That's what she looks like. And I did pick this up this last week. I got her to pass the 9% mark. So she is more than 9% done now. Not by much. I think I went like 9.04. But still, she's past the 9% mark. And this is what I have done. And I have talked about the way that I stitch, Hades before, but I do have a lot of new people. A lot of new subscribers. So I'm going to real quick tell you about how I stitch Hades. I stitch Hades with Pattern Keeper. And so what I do is I pick the color like closest to the corner that is missing. So in the beginning I would just pick the most corner. I would start with the very color in the corner. And then I would stitch in whatever direction that color took me until that strand ran out. And then I would pick up the next color closest in. And so that's why she kind of goes this way. That's why you end up with like random stitches that are like way out here. But now I'm loving it. So I'm starting to see, like you can see her hat coming. There's like the little moon hanging down on here. The brim of her hat's coming around. So I feel like she just really starts, the images really start to take shape with a Haid when you stitch it like that, and there's nothing wrong with stitching a Haid any way you're going to get a Haid stitched. I will say though, one of my girlfriends, Tina, she thanked me after I talked about this a million gajillion times, because she was like, I started stitching a Haid that way, and she finished a Haid that way, and she really felt like it had helped her not start and stop as much, because you're stitching like a whole strand of floss, unless, and I mean like a single strand, because this is 1 over 1 on 25 count. So like, I'm not saying like put all 6 strands into it and then switch colors. I'm not an extreme cross-countryer. I'm just a within the reach cross-countryer. And I'll show you the back. It's not the neatest thing in the world, and I will show you the furthest that I carried. And that's probably farther than I would normally carry. But you can see that yellow that went all the way across right there. That's the furthest I've carried on there, and I don't know that I would continue to carry that far back and forth across it, but it doesn't bother me. But I just didn't want to start. I just didn't want to start and stop it, and so that's the back. So it's not too crazy, but I definitely, if you are struggling with a Haid and you feel like you're starting and stopping a lot, give that method a shot. Much harder if you're doing it with a paper pattern, and I don't recommend it. I feel like that would really just make your eyeballs fall out of your head. If you're a paper pattern stitcher, I mean, stick with those 10 by 10 blocks, and I was like, don't run away from those. I feel like that is the way to go. And then the next start that I had was also a Haid, which this one is a full-size Amy Stewart. I don't have a picture. I will put one in right here while I'm editing. And this is called Tiki Beach Sunset. And this is a page finish. I should have looked up to see what percentage of, I think it's like either 3 or 4% or something like that. But that is the first page. And this is another pattern where like I barely have enough room. So I think because I was like, oh, just have all this extra, this is such a huge piece of fabric, let me just make this border giant. So if I would have started it like 3 inches like I should have, it would fit just perfectly. But I think I've measured it a lot of times because I don't want to continue to stitch on a full coverage piece if I'm just going to trash it. But I've measured it a few times now, and if I sew some fabric onto the sides, like I have enough cross stitch fabric to bring it all down, and really if I take off like 10 stitches on the bottom, it's not going to be the end of the world. So it'll fit. Just barely. All right, so mini which way I started 6-7, and then right after that, because I needed more Haid in my life, I started the Tiki Beach Sunset 7-3. And then on the 4th of July in 2020, I started One Nation. One Nation is by Bygone Stitches. I'm going to take it out so it's not as shiny. And it's not a great cover photo, but it's a cool concept. So it is the American flag, and the states are stitched into the stripes in the order that they were accepted into the Union. So, and this is on that same fabric that Consider the Lilies is on, but I dyed it with beige or like a tan. It looks kind of red. But I don't know, it's working just fine. So I got a full state done. So this I worked on this week. I only had, I think, DEL done before. So I at least got a full state in. And I am stitching it with Victorian Motto sampler flosses from, she did like a patriotic collection. And this made me giggle, and it might make you giggle too, and also you probably don't remember, but when I said I was starting over my July Prairie Schooler, I was starting it over because I didn't like the blue that was in it, because it was 312 and it was just very like plain blue. And the blue that I'm using for this, well, it's variegated, so there's like a little bit more life in it, and I think it's a little bit darker. The comparison color DMC is 312. So I opened it up and I chuckled at myself because, yeah. But this 815, 816 is absolutely like my favorite variegation of floss ever. 815, 816 are my favorites. So anyways, so that's, you know, this is going to be my flag, and that is the piddly amount I have done. I feel like I really want to be the person that can stitch like 1 star and 1 name a week and have it done in a year. But I'm not her. I'm not she. And we'll see how it goes. But this is not going anywhere, and hopefully it goes into the more progress place and not, yeah. All right, next is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. So cute. I changed it a lot. In my house, Halloween is very jewel toned. Purple is a Halloween color, in case you didn't know. But I am very into jewel tones, and I changed this whole pattern into jewel tones with the help of Stephanie at Keepsakes. I don't remember if she like walked around and like had me on the phone, or if she just like sent me pictures, but she really helped me kit this one up. She picked the fabric for me too, which I want to say it's like Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. It's something I've never stitched on before. I know in one of my other videos I called it Murky Light because I feel like it's purpley, pink, and green gray. So that's what I have done. I did pick this up. I was actually working on it last night. There's my colors against it. All my wild colors. So it's just jewel toned and beautiful, and this fabric is gorgeous, and her little Quakers are gorgeous. That's where I'm at. And I feel like I haven't seen this one pop up in a lot of places lately. I don't know. I feel like sometimes this might have been one of the ones that like I think everyone really loved this one when it came out. So like I think a lot of people like started it all at the same time. And then you have the people that like don't like stitching the same thing that all the other people are stitching. So they haven't stitched it yet, and it's probably sitting in a lot of people's stashes and gonna pop out. Although I think a lot of people have been stitching her at like Christmas trees too. So I think that's probably a lot of it also. But anyways, so Pumpkin Quaker. And then 9/9/21, I started the Cryptid Sal from the Witchy Stitcher. And I worked on this recently for the Witchy Stitcher Day. And then I kind of kept working on it until I filled in a little bit more. This is on a Forbidden Fiber Company fabric, of which I cannot remember the name. And that's where I'm at. So I think I have, we've got like one more guy to stitch down here and then to go up. So probably fairly close to the halfway mark on that one. I feel like I should at least just like suck it up and get across the top. And I will stitch more of this one. Every time I stitch it, I love it. And I feel like it only takes a day or two to get like one of the little guys done. And so really I don't have that much left when you really think about it. And then nothing from 2022. And then I have one last start. It's from 2023. Spring Bold New Shoots by Emma Cogden. This was a magazine pattern, so I'm assuming at this point it's available on her Etsy shop, but probably with a different name. Although maybe it's called Spring Bulbs, but it was called New Shoots in the magazine. It was in, I don't know. I don't remember where this came from. But anyways, it's all different bulb flowers and when they come out of the ground. This is on Forbidden Fiber Company's Sell It On, which was Fabric of the Month for March 2022. And that's where I'm at. And this is one of those ones, so this is 32 count, but I've been stitching it 1/2 because it was bulky with 2. And I think it's working out just fine. So I'm gonna get some new colors onto that, especially with spring around the corner. Maybe I'll, like first day of spring, we'll make sure I pick that up. All right, that was it. Thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate having you here. I should be back in a couple weeks with a new start and some progress on an old start. And we'll go from progress on an old start, progress on a WIP, and then we'll go from there. And I can't wait to see you again. Yeah, have a great day, have a great week, and Happy New Year. Bye.